right, so I'm going to preface this like this. I have not watched this yet. This will be the first time that I am watching this. I don't really know too much about this yet. I don't really know what's essentially coming. I do know it starts with POE 2 stuff and then it goes into some POE 1 stuff. And I know that it should be really exciting. So I'm really excited to watch this, and we're going to, I guess, see what happens. Hopefully it's pretty good. I don't know. I have a good feeling. I'm excited. Lay it on me.
Cold flesh,
Yes.
dirt, maggots, and ghosts. Our job is to keep them where they belong. It's your first night, so you'll need this. A ghostly lantern for ghastly tinkering.
Wait, what is this? This is the best part about watching this later. I could pause this. I can pause this and look at this. Pack size, pack density. Okay. Wow, what is this?
To peer into the souls of the dead. You'll learn how to twist them. Meet me in the Necropolis.
Wait, what was that? No.
Meet me in the Necropolis.
What is this? Armor items. What the 300? Wait, what the hell is this?
You can
Fracture and exploit. What is this?
pilfer shiny things from a corpse. But you can pilfer glorious things from a soul. I need a grave digger.
Well, we already have expedition. Tier 17 map, multiple passive trees. Scarab overhaul. Penultimate, but what the heck? What? I'm so confused right now.
The job's hard, but the
I'm.
pay's good.
What did I just watch?
What do you say?
What the hell is that?
In the Necropolis League, you will encounter Undertaker Arimor,
Okay.
a man collecting the scattered spirits of the Eternal Empire for
Okay.
a mysterious purpose. These spirits have begun to haunt the monsters of Rayclast, unleashing their ancient fury and sorrow onto the world. The Undertaker will provide you with the Lantern of Arimor,
Okay.
a powerful family heirloom which can illuminate the wrathful spirits haunting monsters throughout Rayclast.
Is this like a sentinel thing?
With it, the Undertaker hopes to employ you to rid Rayclast of this menace, and further his cryptic cause. The lantern can be used when entering any new area. When peering through it, you can examine the spirits haunting that area. The lantern also allows you to manipulate them, letting you configure which monsters are affected by which mobs.
That's so cool.
It would be wise to take your time with your decisions here, for the spirits are not forgiving. When peering through the lantern, you can also see extra details about the packs of monsters in the area. Rowers here are considered common, whereas the water elementals are more scarce. If you want things to be easier, you can put the more difficult spirits on the elementals, which you'll encounter less often. We've tried to make sure that by engaging with the lantern, you are able to intelligently control the difficulty in the Necropolis League.
Oh, that's awesome.
The
That's
spirits
great.
come in a number of forms which represent the danger they pose. For example here, the infested vultures are servant haunted, causing them to deal a small amount of increased damage. But the Vol's Vanguard are noble haunted, causing them to deal a large amount of increased damage. As you reach higher level areas in Rayclast, the tier and number of spirits that are haunting monsters will generally increase. Your game knowledge can help you here. If you're aware of the composition of a monster pack, this means certain mods will be easier to manage. For example, the mod that increases a pack's damage for every monster killed has no effect on packs with a single monster, like a Devourer. However, if we found a spirit that makes the strongest monster in a pack deal 100% more damage, well, I'm going to avoid the Devourer. You might have noticed that the Lantern of Arimor provides other useful information.
Only
such as the
thing I don't like is that this seems like it'd be very difficult for somebody starting this league. Because he said this is where your game knowledge comes into play. And I feel really bad for newer, like watching this, I'm really excited and I can't wait to interact with this. But watching this in terms of like, from a new player perspective, I'm a little worried.
Types of abilities monsters use, or the damage types they deal. So for those who are less familiar with how these monsters work, this can be a great way to learn what you're up against. The spirits are constantly moving throughout Rayclast, so if you are finding a campaign area too difficult, you can just wait a few minutes and peer through the lantern again to see what's changed.
Okay.
Of course, powerful spirits beget powerful rewards. There are two reasons why you might want to face a challenge now and then. Firstly, not all the spirits are malicious. Sometimes the monsters aren't haunted at all, but are instead devoted. These can grant basic rewards like increased experience, or bigger rewards like spawning the Nameless Seer, an NPC
That's
that
the
will grant
unique guy.
you a single unique item after you defeat all of the packs
That's
affected by that spirit.
cool.
The more
I take back
haunted
everything
monsters
I
you
just
defeat
said.
in the previous area before using the
Take it all
lantern,
back.
the more likely the devoted monsters will appear in the next area. Monsters haunted by higher tier spirits will increase the chance of the devoted appearing even more, meaning that sometimes it's worth putting the hardest modifier possible on very common monsters, if you're brave enough. Again, we've tried hard here to allow players to customize the danger and rewards as much as they can.
600%.
Arimor is
I'm
an
in.
undertaker,
I'm sold. It's cool.
and you can probably guess what we're taking to him. The second main reward from the Necropolis League is monsters with unresolved anguish. Once slain, their corpses need extra care from the Undertaker, and he will offer to take them back to his necropolis and store them in the morgue. Time to earn your keep. When you are ready, you can visit the morgue to view the monsters you have collected, and then get to work burying them in one of many graves in Arimor's cemetery. For example, we will bury this Katava's Herald. Arimor's mysterious soul experiments can coalesce powerful items. Here I've chosen to create a pair of boots.
Of Lunaris, heal your pains and aid this soldier, so that you may grace them with fleetness.
These boots are useful for my character, but aren't exactly what I hoped for. And this is where the Necropolis crafting system really shines. You'll have noticed that the corpse we collected earlier had a crafting effect on it. In fact, all collected corpses do. If you bury multiple corpses in the cemetery, all adjacent corpses can be exercised at once to create one item. All of the crafting effects on those corpses will apply to that same item. This allows you to have either one or many different crafting projects ongoing in the cemetery. For example, next time I try to create boots, I could bury corpses that increase the chance of getting move speed modifiers. To go further, I could use these to generate higher tier modifiers. Then, I could try to bias it towards being an evasion pair with this. Finally, I'll apply some crafting effects that improve the probability of getting good rolls. Now, let's craft our item and see what we get.
That's wild.
Free you of your anguish and aid this soldier, so that you may grace them with fleetness.
As you can see now, we have a much better pair of boots, forged from the souls of our enemies.
That's cool.
You could even use the entire cemetery to
No
craft
way!
one item. There is always something you can do to try and ensure your item will be as best as it can be. We hope to see some really crazy grave crafts. If you are lucky, you might find corpses with iron and souls of our adjacent and find the corpses of famous.
They're fractured? Is that what that is? They're fractured.
If you are lucky, you
Interesting.
might find corpses with meta crafting modifiers. These can be buried to manipulate your crafting projects in more drastic ways. This one increases the potency of all crafting effects of adjacent undead corpses.
Oh, that's
Another
cool.
meta crafting modifier gives a chance to drop an extra item from your craft, with all the same crafting outcomes applied.
That's cool.
All you have to do is bury a lot of undead monsters.
May the ferocity of Throldana free you of your anguish and aid this soldier, so that you may shield them from harm.
That's cool.
You can also craft new unique items exclusive to the Necropolis League using this system. As you explore Rayclast, you might find the corpses of famous Eternal Empire families. And when you bury an entire family together and exorcise them, they will thank you with a unique specific to their lineage.
That's cool. Ah, that's awesome.
For example, the Navalius Inheritance Belt. I'll give you a moment to check that out.
Yeah, I saw this earlier, and that's
You can
insane.
use other corpses alongside them to grant implicit mods, manipulate the values of
Passes
explicit
ratings grant
mods,
five.
and
That's
more.
cool.
In
That's
this case,
cool.
with the Parandus Pact, you can even
like-
change the modifiers it generates.
I like that it takes a while to craft the item. It reminds me a lot of like a Black Desert Online kind of thing. Because like in BDO, when you go to like enhance or Black Desert, you go to like enhance to like upgrade your weapon. It's got this bar and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And like, it seems kind of silly at first, but that suspense of what you're going to make. Well, like, yeah, it could be aggravating every so often, but like, it really builds this like really cool feeling. I do hope they give us the option to skip it and just explode the item, because sometimes you're just like in a rush and you want things to sometimes you want things to go, but I definitely think it's an item that like, or a thing that I hope they like allow us to skip the stuff.
generates. This unique is a jewel which adds extra stats to passive skills in a radius when socketed into the passive skill tree. The stats it adds are randomly generated, but you can bias it towards a specific type by using other crafting effects, such as this one, which increases the chance of getting life modifiers. Let's see what we get.
Like, just give me the item. Come on, what do we get?
Damn, we didn't get it this time. I guess we're gonna have to go and collect more corpses.
Damn.
Of course, you can trade the corpses away to other players.
You
All
can
you need to do is
trade
purchase
them.
empty coffins from the Undertaker and use them on your corpses in the
Thank
mall, which
God.
will itemize them. Another item in the Necropolis League that you can find are Embers of the Allflame. These are monster spirits that remain living in the Allflame, a powerful ancient artifact of Rayclast. And
There used to be the coin system used to have these.
you can set them free by placing them in the Lantern of Arimor and defeating them. These embers drop throughout Rayclast as itemized packs of monsters.
That's cool.
You are able to use these packs to replace the packs in areas. For example, we have found this Allflame Ember of Tarfoa.
Whoa, wait! Did
We
that
can
say tattoos?
By packs to replace the packs in areas.
Pack monsters can drop tattoos?
For example, we have found this
Hold
Allflame
on!
Ember of Tarfoa. We can now go to enter the next area and replace one of the monster packs in here. You can see we have also gotten one of the devoted modifiers to appear. We can pair up the Karui ancestors with this modifier, making them even more rewarding. Let's go ahead and replace the tentacle miscreations. However, when replacing packs, you want to double check their
Drop
density,
Karui
as the new pack will
tattoos.
inherit the density of the replaced pack. The Karui ancestors we have now added to our area can even drop basic variations of tattoos. If you aren't aware, this is an item type from the Trial of the Ancestors League, which can be used on passive skills to change what they do. There are many different types of itemized packs. You can find Breach and
Splinters?
Legion monsters
Okay.
that drop splinters,
Sure.
untainted packs that provide insane amounts of experience,
That's awesome.
and even simple frogs, which can be used to replace difficult monsters to make life easier. And of course, these Ember monsters can be raised as specters too. Finally, let's discuss how this league works in in-game maps. Each in-game map will allow you to manipulate it using the lantern on the map device UI. However, instead of randomly cycling every few minutes, it is fixed to that map. Once you view the map through the lantern, you cannot remove it from the map device, so you can't trade that map away now that you've seen it is too difficult for you, or has monsters in it that you'd rather avoid, like porcupines. We're also trying something new this time around. During the Necropolis League, there will be support for the League on the Atlas passive tree.
That's cool!
Multiple clusters will be there, allowing you to enhance the gameplay, customize it, and even change its behavior in meaningful ways.
That's awesome!
One way that you can change the crafting in a meaningful way is with the Prospero's Wager Keystone. With this keystone, all the monsters with unresolved anguish come with this crafting modifier, which causes them to generate a random craft when buried. This means instead of pre-planning your crafts, you have to adapt to them on the fly to get the best results. These clusters will not be available in Standard League.
What does that mean?
In 3.24, we've made a plethora of changes to the endgame. We're introducing new bosses, adding another tier of maps, and streamlining the Atlas. The most difficult and most rewarding content in Path of Exile can be found in Uber Pinnacle bosses, such as the Maven and the Searing Exarch.
Okay.
Currently, the only way to access these bosses is by allocating specific keystones on the Atlas passive tree. While this system offers a nice element of control, it causes a problem. Rewards and access to the non-Uber variants are now economically priced around the rewards of the Uber fights. This means it is wasteful to run the non-Uber variants instead of simply selling them. Another problem that we noticed is the difficulty jump between the Pinnacle and Uber Pinnacle content was relatively large, and there wasn't obvious content that could bridge this gap. Many players would give up on their characters before being able to defeat the Uber Pinnacle bosses.
Well, there's no point ever to, like,
in
do the
3.24,
pinnacles.
we will be making some changes to this.
But the problem is that wasn't pinnacles were too hard. There's just no point. Like, you could just get everything from Valdo maps, or you could buy it all on trade. And the only time that you were really forced to do pinnacle bosses were you played SSF. Like, they were cool, they were awesome, they were a challenge, but they never felt like, at least for me, like pinnacle bosses never felt like I needed to do them. So if my character couldn't do them, I was just kind of like, whatever.
Removing the keystones that give access to the Uber Pinnacle bosses from the Atlas tree, and instead we'll be adding a new set of fragments that give you access to this content.
Hold on.
Where do you get these fragments?
Yeah, where?
We are adding a new tier of maps.
What do you mean?
Tier 17 maps.
Where do
which
Valdo
not only
maps
give
go?
you access to the Uber Pinnacle content, but also test your characters in new ways. They feature a new set of bosses, Uber monsters, and a new tier of modifiers that can roll on the maps.
That's cool.
There are 5 new tier 17 maps in total, with some surprising boss fights at the end. We'll look at a couple today, and the rest you'll have to discover for yourself.
That's cool.
First, we have the Citadel map. This map contains an ancient Kalguran citadel. You will encounter many expedition monsters as the signature packs throughout the map. At the end, you will fight Uber Uhtred. This is a version of a boss from Expedition League, with all its abilities and mechanics enhanced. Uber Uhtred will even be able to summon 2 other expedition bosses to aid it during the fight.
That's cool. I'm in.
Secondly, we have the Fortress map. This map is an impregnable fortress, guarded by monsters from the Heist League.
Nice!
At the end, you will encounter an Uber version of the Unbreakable.
Nice!
Again, it has enhanced abilities and mechanics you'll have to learn and overcome. Each of the Tier 17 map bosses has a chance to drop a unique item, allowing for some target farming. However, these aren't entirely new unique items. Instead, we've taken other unique items, removing them from the core drop pool, and rebalancing them to fit here. One example is this reworked version of Wraith Lord.
Wait, what
It
does
has
this do?
4 Abyss sockets, and allows you to summon an additional Spectre for each Ghastly Eye jewel socketed into it.
That's cool!
Another example is Mana Storm. This has been rebalanced to grant a lot more damage than before, alongside some more impactful mana stats, if you can get lucky rolls.
Oh!
Alongside adding Tier 17 maps, we have also changed the Uber Pinnacle bosses to have completely distinct unique item drop pools from their
That's nice.
non-Uber
Okay,
counterparts.
that's awesome.
This means
That's
there is
great.
a reason to farm both versions.
That's great.
Let's take a look at the Shaper versus the Uber Shaper. The Shaper will drop these uniques:
Sure.
Voidwalker, Shaper's Touch, Solstice Vigil, and Dying Sun.
Yeah.
Whereas the Uber Shaper will drop these: Echoes of Creation, Sublime Vision,
Oh!
Entropic Devastation, Starforge, and a new unique belt called the Tides of Time. Another example of a new
That's
unique is this
cool!
helmet from the Uber Eater of Worlds, Ravenous Passion, and these gloves from the Uber Searing Exarch, the Celestial Brace. Each of the Uber Pinnacle bosses has a new unique added to their drop pools.
That's cool. Okay.
We've identified another major problem with the endgame we'd like to address.
Sure, what?
With every expansion added to the game, we have been increasing the complexity of running maps.
Yes.
It's at the point now where a player must repeatedly execute a large sequence of steps to run maps
Yeah,
efficiently.
it's miserable.
It can be easy to forget critical steps, and it can be tiring to repeat them.
Very.
To solve this, we are removing some systems, but are keeping what is good about them. The two main systems we've removed are Sextants and the Master Mission Selector.
Yeah, no more
It is not our
Sextants!
intention to dull the content, however. We have completely reworked Scarabs
Thank
to include most
God!
of the options that were previously covered by those mechanics, and many, many more. Let's take a look at some of them. Commonly, you might find Scarabs that simply grant access to different content. Here, we have a Scarab that causes Beyond Demons to spawn when killing monsters in your maps. And here, we have one that adds a Delirium Mirror. Each type of Scarab now has multiple versions, so if you want to fully invest
There's
in
a
a type of
Hyperwing
content, you
Scarab.
can do so. Here's a suite of Ultimatum Scarabs. This Ultimatum Scarab adds an Ultimatum encounter to a map. This Ultimatum Scarab of Bribing then causes that Ultimatum encounter to grant better rewards and its monsters to yield more experience.
Okay.
This Ultimatum Scarab of Dueling will cause that Ultimatum encounter to always guarantee the Trial Master boss fight at the end.
Oh, thank
Assuming
God.
you can survive through
Oh
all
my
the
God,
rounds.
thank God.
This Ultimatum Scarab of Catalyzing will cause all rewards from that ultimatum to be catalysts, instead of other rewards. And finally, this Ultimatum Scarab of Inscription will cause all catalyst rewards from that ultimatum to be inscribed ultimatums instead. There are plenty of others. If you enjoy divination card farming, you might want to use these. This Divination Scarab of Curation causes more divination cards to drop for each different favored map you have selected. But it also causes whatever map you're running to only drop divination cards from those favored maps. So if you want to try and aim for your Mage Blood and don't want to just farm Crimson Temple, then this Scarab is for you.
Thank
This
God.
Divination Scarab of Completion causes your divination cards to have a 20% chance to drop as a full stack instead.
That's
for maximum dopamine.
crazy.
Basically, there are now just a
Wait,
lot of Scarabs.
what hold on. Oh, I can't.
You might have also noticed that they no longer have tiers. Scarabs are now all world drops. You can get them anywhere. Some might be rarer than others, but the intention is that there'll be a lot more options than before, and more interesting combinations to consider. If you want to target specific Scarabs, Betrayal has been updated to include most of them, and you will need to relearn which ones come from where. While this system is allowing you to heavily invest in one type of content, it is reducing your capacity for variety. To address
Sure.
this, we have massively increased access to content on the Atlas passive tree. You are now able to reliably get different leagues like Breach or Legion from just your Atlas passives. Regarding master missions, content such as Incursion, Delve, Betrayal, and Bestiary, these too are now accessible with Scarabs, and have more reliable investment options on the tree. Not only this, you can now get Jun, Einhar, Alva, and Nico to appear together in the same map.
I don't know that. I don't know if that's good yet.
We have also removed some keystones such as Wandering Path,
Thank fucking
Grand
God.
Design, and Growing Hordes. But have added some new ones too. For example, Unwavering Vision,
Thank God.
Back to Basics,
Wait, that was 7th gate. Your maps randomly have between 0 and 80% more modifier effects. That's cool.
and Thorough Exploration.
Wait, Affliction Wisp.
And we have added some new notables such as Remarkable Relics, which allows you to try find better variants of Scarabs. Mounting Modifiers, which increases the values of modifiers on your maps by 2% for each explicit modifier. And Tainted Carapaces, which is just one in a set of many that allow you to target farm specific types of Scarabs. These are just a few of the many new notables that can be found on the Atlas passive skill tree. Lastly, we are giving you more flexibility in what content you want to run in the endgame. In 3.24, you can now have multiple copies of the Atlas
That's
tree,
the best change in the whole
which
game.
can be swapped between maps at your leisure.
That's the whole
You
change
can
to the
unlock
best
up to
game.
2 extra trees for a total of 3
That's the
by
best
progressing
change.
through the endgame and completing core content.
Oh my god.
When you open a map, you can select which tree you would like to use.
Oh my
For a
god.
given league, you'll never feel constrained to playing your endgame a single way.
That's
You can
great.
also label your trees to easily identify which one has which content. With all this combined, we're hoping to see new endgame strategies shine through. While playing through the campaign in 3.24,
That's amazing.
you'll notice a
Oh
myriad
my
of small
God.
improvements and surprises. The fundamentals of the campaign are still intact, but we've scattered fun encounters and secrets throughout Rayclast.
What does that
The
mean?
Dweller of the Deep has been trapped.
What does that mean?
What are these ritual shrines doing in the Northern Forest?
Why is there rituals?
And why are they giving me omens?
Why are they giving you omens?
This device looks safe. I should definitely use this on my items.
No, you should not in the camp. Why is that in the
There are
campaign?
plenty more encounters to discover. We'll continue adding more surprises in future
How are
releases.
you not immediately
keep an eye
logging
out.
in?
In
Who
the-
is actively complaining about all this stuff to do with the campaign? How are you? How are people? I can't, dude.
Previous
I'm done,
expansion,
dude.
3.23,
I'm done.
we released a large number of transfigured skill gems.
I
These
can't.
are
This is
alternate
like,
versions of
how?
existing
This is
skill gems that
great.
function in very different ways, allowing for more build and gameplay variety. At the time, our aspirations were higher than we could achieve. We planned more gems than we could make. So, in 3.24, we're adding another set of transfigured gems that we have now finished.
Sure.
Ice Shot, Incinerate, Artillery Ballista,
Nice.
Tornado, Elemental Hit,
Okay.
Kinetic Blast,
Nice.
Poisonous Concoction,
Nice.
and lastly, Summon Holy Relic. Hopefully those of you who missed your favorite skill having a transfigured variant will get that here. We will certainly be adding more of these in the future, especially for skills that are missing them still. Of course, we'll also be doing a balance pass on the existing transfigured gems. One of the main ones we're looking at is Kinetic Bolt of Fragmentation.
Oh, it's dead.
As a result of this change, it is clear that the in-game potential of the Wander archetype really starts to suffer, mostly in the single target
Is it
damage
not dead?
department. Due to this, we've added the new support gem, Sacred Wisps. This support gem causes supported skills to create 2 attached wisps for a duration. With these wisps, whenever you attack, they have a chance to also use the same skill, if you have enemies in your presence. And if there are any rare or unique enemies, they will always use the skill.
How is that not immediately used on Tornado Shot? Just log in bow skill.
That leads us into all the other quality of life features we're introducing in 3.24. And there's a shit.
Wands only?
Many of these have been revealed in teasers already. But here's a
Dang.
quick summary. We've added the automation and call to
Hate
arms
this.
skill gems for being able to trigger instant
Hate
skills and
this.
war cries
I
without
hope
having
I'm
to
wrong.
bind
I'm
them to
hoping
left
this
click.
is awesome. I hate this.
You can now hold down Control and left click to automatically apply certain currency orbs until they achieve the desired result, or you run out.
This is fine.
For example, you can hold down fusings until you reach maximum links.
That's fine.
You will be able to control,
Beautiful.
shift, click currency
Absolutely
into a trade
beautiful.
window to automatically move all of that currency at once from your inventory.
It's great.
Detonate Dead now has clearer telegraphing effects.
Still gonna die to it. Can't see anything in
When
endgame's
harvest
not gonna
crafting,
matter.
The item hover will always be visible.
This is easily
You no
this
longer
is
have
easily the best change in the entire league.
to mouse back and forth to see the results of your crafts. When you use a Val orb on a map, the map no longer has a chance to become unidentified.
Also, not sure if I'm a fan of
Instead,
this or not
it adds
yet.
a new implicit. We've created a set of implicits that affect the areas in fun ways. Related to that, corrupted and mirrored items can now be identified. Breach hands now open upon approach, and no longer need to be clicked. Upgrades to Pantheon powers now apply to all characters in a league.
This is
You
awesome.
no longer need to grind divine
Wonderful.
vessels on each new
Absolutely wonderful.
character. With harvest crafting, you can now re-roll Uber Elder fragments. Fragments dropped by the Shaper cannot be re-rolled into fragments dropped by the Elder, and vice versa. Regarding Betrayal, we're removing Ashling's crafting bench as a reward. Instead, Veiled Orbs now perform that function. They remove a mod and replace it with a Veiled mod. These orbs now drop from Katarina and are no longer a world drop.
That's fine.
Flasks can now be corrupted by Val Orbs, giving random -10 to +10 quality.
I don't know if I like
The capability to add extra quality to weapons, armors, and flasks has been removed from Betrayal. The Betrayal bench craft that converts an amulet to a talisman has been moved to Bestiary, and thus can be traded. Maven invitations no longer drop. Instead, when
I
you
love
have
this
completed
change.
witnessing all bosses required to go to
I
the
love
Maven's
this
arena,
change.
you can just talk to Karak, and he'll open a map device window with the invitation already in there.
I think this change is
ready
great.
to be rolled. Valdo's maps that granted invitations now give Scarabs. No more having to waste Guardian kills to try get invitations to drop. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new League supporter packs. Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Solar and Eldritch packs.
Okay, in terms of everything going on, supporter packs, whatever. I'm not buying. I can't buy them anyways. I've got too much going on. But in terms of everything else, I am sold. This league has me hyped out of my mind. I am so excited to log in. I'm so excited. It looks great. It looks fantastic. All I know is I need to, you know, I just need to go read the patch notes and see what we're logging in. But I'm very grateful for what I saw. The POE 2 stuff is like whatever. The POE 2 stuff's okay. I'll be more excited closer to POE 2. I'll definitely be more excited then. As far as like POE 1 goes, I can't wait to log in. I do know that I'm gonna go. I have to go figure out what I'm doing. I gotta figure out if I'm league starting Hex Blast. I gotta figure out if I'm group playing. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing yet. As far as league starting stuff goes, I'm sure within the next 24 hours, I'll have it all figured out. I'll start figuring that out and get that out to you guys. I know a lot of people keep asking, what are you starting? What are you doing? What's the plan? I don't know. I will say, as far as things go, if you like want to know about the league start or like what I'm thinking about or what I'm planning, make sure you guys keep an eye on the Twitch, keep an eye on the Discord, keep an eye on the YouTube, stuff like that'll be great. But as far as everything else goes, yeah, man, I'm excited. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, all right, time to go read patch notes and look at the rest of it. Yes, let's go.